This is the story of Dumbo. Enjoy! It was spring once again. Time for Casey Jr., the circus train, to take the circus to town. The cars were loaded with animals, clowns, and acrobats. Casey Jr. was anxious to get started. Inside the cars, the circus animals had their babies. There was a baby zebra, a baby giraffe, a baby bear, and a baby tiger. In one of the cars, there was a female elephant named Mrs. Jumbo. There were other elephants too. There was also a small baby elephant as well. Mrs. Jumbo looked proud at her baby and decided to call him Jumbo Jr. Suddenly, the baby elephant sneezed. His ears, which had been tucked in nicely, flopped open, and they were enormous. The elephants laughed at him and told him that his name must be Dumbo. Mrs. Jumbo didn't mind that her son's ears were huge. She tucked him in nicely, and both went to sleep. The next day, the circus animals were going to the tent. They were all going in order. The elephants were the last ones. The crowds laughed as they saw Dumbo and his big ears. When they reached inside the tent, the crowd followed too. Suddenly, a bunch of rowdy boys ran in and started to make fun of little Dumbo. Mrs. Jumbo was furious. She filled a trunk with water from a tub and squirted it on the boys and on the crowd. The ringmaster was furious. He tied Mrs. Jumbo in chains and locked her in a wagon apart from the circus. But the worst part was that the ringmaster put Dumbo in the clown act. It was a fireman act. The clowns made Dumbo stand on a high window and on a building and made him fall into a barrel of cream. The crowds laughed at the act, except Dumbo. A little mouse named Timothy saw this. He was mad that the circus people were making fun of Dumbo. He wanted to help Dumbo save his mother. He told Dumbo all he needed was a talent. But what? Timothy had a look at Dumbo's ears. He thought of an act, and an idea struck him. The next day, the clown fireman act was ready. This time, Timothy handed Dumbo a feather, telling him that it was a magic feather. When Dumbo jumped halfway down, he lost the feather. Timothy told Dumbo that the feather wasn't really magic. All he needed to do was to believe in himself. Whoosh! Dumbo opened his ears and he flew. The crowds were amazed. Timothy shouted in joy. In no time at all, Dumbo became famous. The ringmaster freed Mrs. Jumbo and gave her and Dumbo a free car at the end of the train, and no one ever made fun of Dumbo's ears again. The end.